if you can. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Kia Hyundai channel. My name is Charlotte, and if you're watching this video again, no you're not. Our audio is hopefully fixed now, but today we are taking a look at the 2024 Hyundai Elantra Essential. And finally first, do I have audio is the real question though. And today, this vehicle is really interesting because it really shows two things that we don't see a lot of in Canada specifically. Number one, the fact that it is a sedan, it's a compact car, it's little, it's not an SUV. The second is that it is not a top trim. It is actually the introductory trim for the Hyundai Elantra, which again makes it a little bit more of a unicorn. And to top it all off, it's showcased here in Atlas White, which is Hyundai's paint that is free of charge. So MG, please tell me if I have audio. Oh, and the gimbal. Do you want to grab that, if you don't mind?
The gimbal is not gimbling.
Gimbal's not gimbling. Well, it wouldn't be a Kia Hyundai video without it. But if you guys are new here, then you'll very quickly be able to tell that these videos are live streamed, which means they're happening in real time every single weekday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it's a one-take wonder, baby. What you see is what you get. And today, what you see is the 2024 Hyundai Elantra Essential. So we're going to give you guys a full and complete in-depth walkthrough on the exterior, the interior, the powertrain, the safety, you name it, you want to know about it. You can ask your questions about it too in the live chat. So without further ado, let's talk about what we finally have here with audio. So the first thing I want to talk about is going to be the styling of this vehicle. I think that this vehicle has a really great road presence, and whenever I see one, no matter which trim it is, my eye is definitely drawn to it. And a lot of that has to do with the fact of we have a refreshed front end, and that starts a lot with our headlight unit. So we do have LED headlights and daytime running lights on this vehicle, and the way that they're integrated is really cool, especially with the top of the grille here. So as you can see, the daytime running light really cycles into this chrome piece, stretching across and really emphasizing the width that we have in this vehicle, because despite its size, it is quite spacious on the interior. For our Hyundai logo, you can see that it is almost flush, giving that stamped in look, which I think, again, looks really slick, especially because this is introductory. And then as we move down, we've got some more matted black plastic, or not really matted, but a black plastic for our front grille and down below too. But tons of design cues, lots of parametric details, which is really staying true to Hyundai's design language. So absolutely, absolutely love it. I'm gonna pop in, and I'm actually gonna open up the hood for you guys. Also gonna grab the key. Oh wow, you're even opening it for me? Thank you so much. I'll get the prop arm for you though. So underneath the hood of this vehicle, you can see that we have a 2-liter inline 4-cylinder engine, which is gonna give us an output of 147 for our horsepower. Now that is going to be mated with what's called an intelligent variable transmission, which is basically Kia and Hyundai's take on a CVT. Now, if you're not familiar with that is, don't worry, it's still gonna function the same way an automatic would, in the sense that you put it into drive, you don't have a third pedal, nothing like that, don't worry. But it is a little bit different in the fact that it has some preset gear ratios. And if you wanna learn more about that, don't worry, we've done a podcast episode on it. But for our torque, that is gonna give us 132 pound-feet of torque. So very fun underneath the hood. I know it's not necessarily a showstopper for those figures, but again, this is something that is introductory. This is something that is affordable. It's got a MSRP of $21,999, which again is something that you don't quite see in this market anymore, especially for a newer vehicle. So again, absolutely love that. Whew. Now with this vehicle, oh, I'm so glad that closed for me first try. Sometimes it doesn't. Now with this vehicle, something that also makes it fun is the fact that you do have drive mode select in this vehicle. So depending on what drive mode that you put it in, and we'll show that on the interior of the vehicle, is it's going to change how the powertrain is going to respond. It's going to change those artificial shift points to either give you a more fuel efficient response, a little bit more of a sportier response, and I'll show you guys what that looks like as we head in. Oh, gimbal again. The gimbal really do be gimbling. So if you guys are new here, again, this is a problem we tend to run into a couple times. We'll come around to the side if we're able to stabilize, and hopefully I'm not giving anyone motion sickness with this video. Michael's doing a really good job though. One thing I will point out is our wheels, these are 15 inches and they are an alloy. So something that you don't see again a lot for a base model is an alloy. Usually you're seeing something that is steel with a wheel cover on it, so I do like the overall look of this design. I wish the center cap was the same color as the actual alloy. I think that looks a little bit odd, but I guess you gotta pick and choose and Maybe there's some aftermarket options out there, you never know. Let's take a look at the side. For our mirrors, we do have a body colored mirror, a little bit of black on the bottom, and then these are electronically controlled mirrors that are also heated. So great for those Canadian winters. And as we come around to the side, we can see a more plastic accenting for our seat pillars and for our trim. And again, we have a little bit more of a textured detail here too. Do you guys hear that? Really cool. Body colored door handles, as you can see, and something I love about the Elantra is just the body lines. I think that this is a really good looking vehicle, and like I said, it does command a lot of road presence, especially when you're looking at all of the fine lines, even coming in from the taillights, how they operate right into the fuel tank. I think that looks so cool, so seamless in the design. We'll come around to the rear now. And I guess I should put the lights back on. They are bulbs, no LEDs for the rear. You do have to go up a couple trims for that. But when it comes to style cues back here, there still is a decent amount going on. For our bumper, we have a black plastic bumper with some chrome accenting on it too, and reflectors down at the bottom. Elantra is boldly spread across the rear end of this vehicle in a nice, slim profile. So it's, yeah, nice. We, of course, have our Hyundai badging, and if you're looking at this and you're thinking, oh my goodness, is that a trunk release? It's not, unfortunately. If you do want to access the rear tailgate, there are two ways to do it. The first one is going to be inside the vehicle, but you can also do it from your key fob. I will show you your key. So you have a switchblade style key. This is not the egg key, so I like it. Lock, unlock, and then of course panic button, and then if you press and hold this, it's going to open up the tailgate for you. Speaking of tailgate, let's take a look at what it is for space. So I think sedans get a bad rap, especially when it comes to storage space. And I'm not too sure how it's going to show on camera, but there is tons of room back here, which I think is so cool. Once you get past the fact that it does have a smaller opening, you got so much space back there. Like, look at how much room this is. I know it's dark, so hopefully you're able to pick up on it, but you do genuinely have a lot of space. And if this isn't enough for you, you do have a little bit more room underneath the cargo floor, and you'll also notice that you have a spare tire kit, which is something we don't see too much with Hyundai anymore, but you also have room around that if you want to pack it with your reusable bags or any other essentials that maybe you don't access a ton. I know for me it is reusable bags. I just grab them out. I find it pretty easy, but that's just me. These tabs up here, if you pull them, you are able to push these seats back. That way, if you need more room to access from the rear, you can do so. I'll bring this back down. We have a high-mounted stop lamp because this is a race car, obviously. And I think I'll show you guys what we have here for fuel efficiency. So on this little sheet here, you can see our combined fuel economy is 6.5 liters per 100 kilometers, obviously performing better on the highway than it would in the city with 5.7 and 7.3. Oh, the gimbal really do be gimbling. Up at the top, you can also see the MSRP, so the price point that I mentioned, which is $21,999. And then for your freight and air, you can see that down at the bottom. So MSRP, a good thing to note about that is that does not include any fees and taxes. That is just basically the base selling point of the vehicle. Now let's take a look on the interior. So it is a keyed interior, no proximity key on this vehicle, but we'll show what we have here on the driver's side door in true Kia Hyundai fashion. For speakers, we've got 6 speakers in the vehicle, 2 here, 2 in the passengers, and then 2 in the rear. And then for our mirrors, I already mentioned that they are electronically controlled. Full automatic windows with the drivers being a one-press hinge protected window, which again, nice to see, especially on an introductory level. We do have cloth seats in this vehicle, and it's a set it and forget it 6-way adjustable seat. So it's not electronically controlled, but there still are different ways to configure it. You can pump it up, you can adjust the lumbar, or not the lumbar, the backrest, and then down by my feet is when you're gonna have your fuel door release, and then also if you wanna open up the rear hatch. Front, you've got the bonnet, open up that right there, and then here you're going to have your brightness adjuster for your instrument cluster, idle stop and go, which this vehicle does have, and if you'd like to turn off your traction control. I think that's really it. Do you want to come around to the side and you can show the passenger seat? Michael, you're doing a really good job.
Thank you.
My instinct is always to start it up, but I won't do that today, don't worry. Okay, that's random. All right, so what are our seat configurations looking like for this one? Do we have manual? Yes. Sorry, I'm used to Gabby and she responds. A four-way manual seat for the passenger. And something I like is that even though these seats are cloth, is they still have a decent amount of design to them. So it's not just straight black. You still have some detailing in the center, and then also you've got a peppered kind of white and black on for the actual body of the seat itself, which again is something I think is very, very neat. Okay, hop on in, cameraman. You're doing a great job. And you stay on your side, I'll stay on my side, I guess. So this is one thing that I find very interesting in the Elantra is the fact that this is a very driver-centered vehicle, and you can tell that because your passenger's blocked off. You don't want them touching your climate control? No problem. No, just kidding. It is still easy for the passenger to access climate control. Can you access it? Is it easy for you?
Yep.
Yeah, there you go. But I do think this is a little bit of a quirky design that we do have. But let's talk about what I've got right in front of me. I have a regular plastic steering wheel. It is not heated. And then when it comes to some of the tech and safety features I have accessible from the steering wheel, on this side I still have my virtual assistant. I've got various media modes I can cycle through, volume, channel, a favorites button, all of that good stuff. This is really not doing great, the gimbal. And then on this side is where I'm going to have my cruise control. I also have lane keep assist, lane follow assist to help me out too, which is all, again, accessible from here. This item right here that looks like a little notes icon is going to cycle through that 4.2-inch screen, which gives me good access to my trip computer, my vehicle's computer essentially. And it's going to show you a lot of your quick specs to see how the vehicle is responding to how you drive it. From here, you can also access numerous driver's assistant photos or features, like those safety features I mentioned for you. Go back. And light store convenience. A lot of it is going to be accessible right through here. It also shows your TPMS when the vehicle is in motion, of course, and some safety features. Digital speedometer, digital tachometer, which I really like, and of course distance till empty is going to be up at the top. Behind us, we do have your regular wiper stock and the lighting stock. And when it comes to your high beams on this vehicle, is you do have high beam assist, which is going to switch between the high beams and the low beams, depending on when the vehicle senses, the conditions and also the vehicle ahead of you coming in the opposite direction. So something that is very cool. You might just need to hold it a little bit. Yeah, unfortunately. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Oh. Now, something I love about this setup is we do have an 8-inch screen here, which I like. This also gives us the capacity for wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, but if you notice, it's not framed in piano black. It's actually just a flat black framing, so trim pieces here, which I think looks a lot better. I know piano black can look more luxurious, but this is more functional because it's not as much as a fingerprint magnet. So from here, you can access your favorites button, radio, media, setup, which can jump you right into here. There we go. Device connections, everything along those lines, and then also you can pop into general, which will give you information for things like date and time, language, and also your software updates. So very, very neat when we look at it. Jump back to setup, and then you have a regular power knob, tune knob, volume knob. Down below, again, no piano black, which I love, is going to be your climate controls. Very easy to use. You can, of course, adjust fan strength, fan direction, defrost, everything along those lines. Now for me and Michael, we've got heated seats, you've got your air conditioning, recirculated air, and then also your rear defrost because we do not have a rear wiper on this vehicle. Then of course, we've got a 12-volt. You have a USB, which can be used for connectivity, so for data transfer or for charging for CarPlay, and then up here you have a USB-C. Little convenience pocket here, good for your phone if it is connected. And of course, you've got your gear shift here, which we do have a little bit of panel black in, but that's okay. That's not an area that's usually touched too much. And then I want to show your rear view camera as well. So this is the rear view camera, of course, and it has dynamic guidelines, meaning as I turn the wheel, it's going to show me where my vehicle is going to end up, which I think is really neat. If by any chance you need to back it up or want to put a bike or anything like that, you do have this almost known as like an accessory hitch type camera. This obviously vehicle is not rated to tow, so take everything I say with a grain of salt, but if you are trying to get a little bit more precise, you can change that viewpoint. For drive modes, it's always when you let go. It's so unfortunate. For drive modes, we have normal, eco, sport, and smart, and I already talked about those a little bit. They do have a fun change for your instrument cluster, and then like I said, sport is going to give you that more aggressive throttle response, change your shift points. Smart is going to cycle between normal, eco, and sport to give you the best configuration for your driving style, and eco, of course, is going to give you the most fuel-efficient type of driving, but sometimes it might feel a little bit more, like it needs a little bit more pep in her step. Cup holders, we have got those here. You even have a little takeout adjustable cup holder, so if you have something smaller, and this is nice that you can remove it to clean it should anything spill. 2 cup holders there. And then for your center console, you actually have a decent amount of space. So decent amount of covered space here. And overall, I like how this looks. It does look very sleek and very easy for the driver to use. But again, I always think this is a little bit odd. Regular handbrake, which is great. And then up top, just lights, mirror, everything pretty normal. Do you want to show the glove box? It's got one. And you got manuals in there, English and French. That is the Brantford Hyundai and Owen Sound Hyundai special, just for you. Just kidding. Let's head to the back seat and we can take a look at space there. Michael, do you have any impressions of this vehicle?
I think it kind of surprised me with the design.
Yeah? In a good way or a bad way?
Sorry?
In a good way or a bad way?
In a good way.
Oh, that's good.
Because from the previous Elantra that I've seen on the road, this one's completely different.
It's very different, right?
Yes.
Okay, so back seat, I'll actually show what it's like with legroom right here, because the seat is moved back a little bit more. Now, obviously, it's a sedan, so it's not like you're going to have all of the space that an SUV does offer, but I am surprised always with the Elantra by how much rear space you do have. I think that it is very well done. When it comes to headroom, I probably have, what, do you think that's 6 inches?
Yeah.
About? Yeah. No sunroof, so you gain a little bit more on the vertical, which is nice. And then I still have dual USB-Cs back here as well. And then if I want to take a little spot in the center, not a huge hump, this is a front-wheel drive vehicle, and sometimes if your people who you're riding with are nice, maybe they can let you use some of their legroom and still have a decent amount of space. You still have, of course, your window controls back here, also speakers, and a bottle holder. Well, that really wraps it up. Go see if we have any questions, if the gimbal doesn't absolutely fail. I'm like staring at it. I'm so scared. Watching this footage back is going to be so rough.